The streets of Atlanta were already buzzing, but nobody could have predicted the nuclear meltdown that was about to unfold. Just when fans thought the drama between Erica Mena and Mendeecees had fizzled out like expired tea bags, the internet detonated with whispers, leaks, and scandalous receipts that blew the whole franchise wide open. And let's be real, this wasn't your average love and hip-hop mess. No, baby. This was courtroom-level drama, baby bump-sized secrets, and a paternity plot twist so wild it made soap operas look subtle. The kind of chaos that turns confessionals into courtroom transcripts and cast members into potential witnesses. Because what started as a simple DNA test segment, the kind reality TV eats for breakfast, has now evolved into a full-blown exposé with network executives ducking behind legal teams and fans calling for public audits like this is Watergate. With Wigs.it all began when Erica showed up to set looking like she'd seen a ghost. Her glam was perfect, but her energy was off. She wasn't walking, she was floating. Eyes locked to the floor. No smiles, no hugs. No baby hairs laid in joy. Just tension thick enough to make the air conditioning sweat. One crew member whispered she came in 30 minutes late claiming she had urgent personal matters. Translation: either a bombshell just dropped or she was about to drop one herself. The corridors echoed with low-toned murmurs. Had she seen something? Was the DNA test from last season, the one that publicly declared Mendeecees wasn't the father of her baby, tampered with? That storyline was supposed to be over. Case closed. Dust settled. But apparently, somebody was hiding a damn broom. The whispers turned into tidal waves when a wardrobe stylist was overheard saying, they never showed the real results. And baby, that's all it took. Because right after that, another producer was caught in the hallway telling someone they shot two endings. One where Erica wins, one where she doesn't. We picked the one with better ratings. Pause. You mean to tell me the Love and Hip Hop production team is out here playing Choose Your Own Adventure with paternity results like it's a reality TV video game? Cue the meltdown. Fans went full CSI on the timeline, dissecting every episode, every camera angle, every envelope that had ever graced the screen. Hashtag DNA fraud trended faster than Mona Scott Young could send a cease and desist. And right there in the middle of the madness? Mendeecees, nowhere to be found. Yandy, silent. And Erica, well, she was just getting started. Let's rewind the tape, because someone certainly did. A leaked group chat screenshot dropped like a bomb on fan pages. A message from Erica read, the envelope was swapped. You saw it too. And below that, someone responded, I have the photos. You sure you want this out? Boom. Now the storyline wasn't just shady. It was potentially criminal. Fans flooded the comments. What envelope? What photos? Who has what? And who's lying? Within hours, producers were scrambling like rats on a sinking yacht. One even reportedly stormed off set mid-shoot. Another requested to be removed from Erica's scenes entirely. The production room turned into a battlefield, with sides forming faster than you could say, paternity probability. VH1 execs reportedly met behind closed doors for an emergency integrity check. Translation: they were trying to figure out whether they could clean up this mess with a press release or if it was time to lawyer up. Meanwhile, Erica retreated into her trailer and refused to come out except to film her confessionals. But those clips? Different. No sass. No shade. Just raw. Her voice was thin. Her eyes rimmed red. This wasn't a woman trying to go viral. This was a woman who looked like she'd been gaslit on national television and handed the script after the fact. Backstage, one producer allegedly admitted to a coworker, we may have gone too far. Too far? Babe, y'all created an alternate reality and edited it like a Marvel movie. And Yandy? Sis dipped. Her usual motivational mommy blog content vanished. No IG stories. No live prayer circles. No skincare routines. Just radio silence. When fans noticed she hadn't posted in over 48 hours, theories started flying. Was she helping cover it up? Was she the moral compass trying to expose it? Or was she just tired of being pulled into Mendeecees' mess, again? As for Mendeecees himself, his IG went dark. No gym selfies. No late-night wisdom rants. No TikToks featuring his skincare routine and suspiciously filtered reflections. Just one cryptic post, back soon. And baby, fans zoomed in on every detail of that photo like it held the cure for scandal. The curtains. The clock on the wall. The mug on the table. One TikTok creator claimed she saw a lab envelope in the corner of the shot. Another said the lighting suggested a hospital waiting room. Conspiracy TikTok was eating. They brought out Photoshop. Digital enhancement. Theorized timestamps. And while all that was going down, a fan account leaked grainy behind-the-scenes footage from a confessional shoot. The footage showed Erica, off-script, shouting at a producer, "You lied to me. I trusted you." Where's my real DNA test? The audio cut off, but the impact didn't. Hashtag justice for Erica was born. And so was a war, but nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared the cast and crew for what came next. VH1 called for an early morning photo shoot, but what they got was a subpoena in waiting disguised as a production meeting. Everyone showed up expecting glam. Instead, they were herded into a locked room with VH1 legal, 3 network execs, and a folder labeled audit materials. It was giving courtroom. It was giving damage control. And at the back of the room? Erica and Yandy, sitting side by side, not saying a word. Someone whispered that Mendeecees had refused to attend. Someone else whispered he was filming a secret video apology with a ghostwriter. And in the middle of it all, one line from a leaked producer email sent the entire internet into cardiac arrest. If we admit the test was real, we lose the storyline. If we admit it was fake, we lose credibility. We need a compromise. That line alone turned VH1 into the villain. The fans, once just messy voyeurs, were now full-blown activists. Petitions launched. Blogger roundtables hosted exposés. Even former cast members came out of the woodwork, claiming this wasn't the first time storylines had been edited for effect. One even claimed Mena once greenlit a 2-ending finale, just in case one storyline didn't test well with focus groups. And when Erica caught wind of the chaos online, she did something no one expected. She invited her biggest fans to a secret screening. That's right. A handful of hand-picked superfans and bloggers were flown out to an undisclosed Atlanta studio. And what did she show them? Alleged raw footage of the original DNA test scene. No cuts. No reaction shots. No music. Just Erica, holding a sealed envelope with trembling hands, opening it slowly, and reading it. Her lips moved silently. Her hands shook. She dropped the paper. The screen faded to black. It didn't matter that the footage didn't show the result. Fans believed her. Because her face said it all. Her body language wasn't acting. And that clip? It never aired. It had never even been uploaded to the official cast vault. But somehow, Erica had it. And just as the blogs started posting reviews of the secret screening, yet another leak emerged. Text messages between Erica and her lawyer. We have grounds to sue. Statute is tight. Her response? Understood. Period. Baby, VH1 was no longer just a network. It was a defendant in the making. Meanwhile, on set, everything fell apart. Rashida and Kirk tried to film a romantic brunch scene, but their dialogue was stiffer than Kirk's acting career. Bambi was spotted scrolling through leaked audio on her phone like she was listening to a mixtape. And Ivana Ventura, originally brought in to lighten the mood, cancelled her appearance last minute, citing loyalty concerns. Translation: she wasn't about to step into the ring unless she was holding a receipt. One insider said that by the end of the day, Mona Scott Young herself was having a meltdown. Not publicly, of course. But behind closed doors, she was allegedly reviewing footage with a bottle of whiskey in one hand and a statement draft in the other. One crew member described her as one envelope away from losing it all. And then came the final scene of that week's shoot. Erica, armed with a literal folder of documents, confronted Mona directly. No security. No assistance. Just one woman against a production giant. And though the cameras were ordered to stop rolling, one surveillance cam caught it all. You can't hear the full audio, but you can see the fury, the tears, the point of the finger. And the moment Mona finally looks down at the folder in her hand like she's holding a grenade with no pin. That footage never aired. But baby, it leaked. And when it did, the internet lost it, and that's just the beginning. The silence in the room after that leaked surveillance footage spread across the internet was louder than any fight ever aired on television. In every direction, you could feel it. VH1 wasn't running a show anymore. They were running damage control dressed up in designer shades and ring lights. Back on set, everyone was walking on eggshells. Even Mona Scott Young was no longer holding court like the queen of messy reality. No, sis had gone quiet, surrounded by legal advisors and PR teams that whispered more than they spoke. Meanwhile, Erica Mena had become something else entirely. She wasn't just a cast member. She was the whistleblower, the symbol, the face of a movement, whether she wanted to be or not. And if things weren't chaotic enough already, Yandy was back on social media with a cryptic black screen post. White text. For words, truth always finds a way. No emojis. No tags. Just smoke. The internet erupted. Was she standing with Erica? Was this shade at the network? Was she warning Mendeecees? The comment section was a war zone. Some said she was the real puppet master behind the scenes. Others swore she was just tired of being dragged into lies about a man she was still trying to rebuild trust with. But the most chilling theory? That Yandy knew about the paternity test from day one and kept quiet to protect Mendeecees' image, and by extension, hers, while everyone online was doing forensic analysis of that one IG story. VH1 was going nuclear. Producers called an emergency confessional shoot for Erica. No script. No glam. Just raw. She showed up wearing all black like she was headed to a funeral, and maybe she was. The death of a lie. The burial of a storyline. The end of playing. Nice for the cameras. The lights were brighter than usual, the booth colder than usual. But when the red light turned on, she didn't flinch. "I'm not here to play games," she said. Voice steady. Lip gloss shining through the tension. "I deserve to know what's real. This show is about my life, then show me the real DNA test. Don't hide behind edits and envelopes." That confessional leaked before it ever aired. One of the editors couldn't hold it in and slipped it to a blogger with a following and a grudge. It hit Twitter within an hour and was reposted over 10,000 times by morning. Fans lost it. Bloggers praised her strength. Conspiracy channels called it the smoking confessional. VH1 issued a vague statement about reviewing content integrity. But by then the toothpaste was out of the tube and halfway down the sink. The narrative had flipped. The same woman who'd been painted as delusional, emotional, and obsessive was now a martyr for the truth. And the people were behind her, but behind closed doors, things were unraveling fast. The network tried to buy time, but the leaks kept coming. Another anonymous source dropped an audio clip allegedly recorded in the edit bay. In it, two producers are arguing about which version of the DNA scene to use. One can be heard saying, "The Erica one's more authentic, but the other makes for better TV." The other replies, "We're not here to be authentic. We're here to get ratings." Boom. That clip alone might have been admissible in court. And speaking of court, Erica's lawyer had officially entered the chat. Documents were filed. A notice of potential litigation was sent to VH1. It was real now. No longer a storyline. No longer just reality TV. Mendeecees finally surfaced, but not in the way anyone expected. He skipped the reunion promos, dodged the talk show circuit, and instead recorded a personal message on Instagram Live. Shirtless, in a dimly lit room, soft music playing in the background. It wasn't giving apology, it was giving damage control disguised as deep thoughts. "I never asked for none of this," he said. "I've been trying to keep my peace, focus on my family, and now people trying to drag my name through something I didn't even produce. I'm not the editor. I'm not the director. I'm a father. A husband. I'm not perfect, but I didn't lie." But baby, no one was buying it. The comments section lit up with snake emojis, clown emojis, and receipts. One fan even commented, "So you didn't lie, but you watched them lie and said nothing? Got it." And then came the unthinkable. A second tape. That's right. Another leaked tape dropped like a brick through VH1's carefully constructed facade. This one wasn't grainy. This one was crisp. Clean audio. Crystal clear visuals. It showed Erica in a different outfit, sitting in the same confessional booth, but the date stamp was from last season. She's handed a test result envelope. By a production assistant. Her face falls. "Wait. This isn't the same one you showed me before," she says. Boom. Cut. The clip ends. But that 12 seconds broke the internet. The question was no longer if there were multiple versions, it was how many. And who approved them. VH1 tried to pull copyright claims to remove the clip, but every time it disappeared, 5 more versions popped up with filters and meme captions. The truth had gone viral. And it wasn't slowing down. Meanwhile, Yandy had reportedly taken a break from filming. Insiders said she'd requested time off to regroup. But gossip blogs weren't buying it. Some said she was meeting with her own lawyer. Others claimed she was in talks with Netflix to do a spin-off series with a no-lies policy. Whether true or not, the buzz kept her name at the center of the fire. And Erica? Sis went full-on media tour. Interviews. Podcasts. IG Lives. But the biggest headline came when she sat down with an independent documentary crew, yes, a documentary crew, to tell her side of the story. "They told me reality TV was about truth," she said into the lens. "But it's only about ratings. They wanted drama? Well, now they've got real-life consequences." The next few days turned into a PR bloodbath. One of the senior producers resigned for personal reasons. Another issued a carefully worded statement about creative liberties and narrative flexibility. The blogs had a field day. Twitter users began referring to VH1 as very heavily edited one. TikToks reenacting the fake DNA test scene went viral. And then, as if the gods of chaos weren't done, a final piece of evidence dropped, a network memo. Leaked by a disgruntled intern, The memo contained internal discussions about crafting alternative versions of sensitive storylines, in case the audience demands a rewrite. One line stood out in bold: "Control the narrative before it controls us." Too late, sweetie. The narrative was gone. It had a passport, a TikTok account, and fans in every time zone. Erica wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was now the voice of every cast member who'd ever been gaslit by a storyline. And with public sentiment fully in her corner, VH1 had to act fast. So what did they do? They scheduled an emergency meeting between Erica, her lawyer, Mena, VH1 executives, and legal advisors. And this time, it wasn't just a meeting. It was a moment. Erica, dressed in white like she was here to exorcise the lies, walked into that boardroom carrying a USB stick and a folder thicker than Mona's wig collection. No smiles. No handshakes. "Just business, Mona," she said, voice calm but ice cold. "I want access to the master tapes." The room froze. Lawyers shifted in their seats. The head of legal started mumbling about contracts and creative rights, but Erica wasn't hearing it. She slammed the folder down on the table. "This is every lie you let air. This is every message I sent that you ignored. This is the receipt for your disrespect." And then, in the quietest voice, Yandy stepped into the room. No entourage. No makeup team. Just her. She looked around, nodded to Erica, and said, "She's not wrong." Boom, everyone turned. That single sentence flipped the power dynamic. Yandy, the queen of diplomacy, had chosen a side. And baby, the dominoes fell fast. A production assistant wheeled in a box labeled Raw Footage Archive, and when it was opened, there it was, the original cassette labeled DNA Scene, Raw Unedited. The tension was so thick you could cut it with Kirk Frost's past. Mistakes. The network's head of legal spoke up. "We can't air this publicly," he said. "But we can confirm that the test results read 98% probability of paternity." Gasps. Stares. Tears. And then silence. Erica broke it with one sentence. "So you let the world call me a liar? For ratings?" And nobody answered. Because there was no answer that wouldn't end in a lawsuit or a resignation. Mona looked at the floor. Yandy closed her eyes. And Erica, for the first time in months, smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a victorious smile. The kind you earn. The kind that makes producers sweat and bloggers cheer. And this? This was just the middle of the saga. The morning after the DNA truth was confirmed behind closed doors, the studio felt like a haunted house. No one spoke louder than a whisper. The crew avoided eye contact like it was contagious. Even the assistant. Producers, usually buzzing with caffeine and chaos, moved slowly, like they were walking through the aftermath of something sacred and dangerous all at once. VH1 hadn't just aired a false narrative, they'd weaponized it. And now the weapon had backfired in the worst way. Because what started as a juicy subplot had turned into the franchise's most damaging scandal since its inception. This wasn't about a baby. This was about the show itself. The trust. The power. The people. And all of it had come crumbling down over one little white envelope. Erica Mena, once dubbed too emotional, had become untouchable. Her quiet defiance spoke louder than any monologue. She wasn't doing confessionals anymore, she was dropping truth bombs. She showed up to set in sunglasses and sneakers, declined glam, and waved off her handler. She wasn't playing the game anymore. She had the truth, the receipts, and now the full weight of the fandom behind her. And you could feel it. Everywhere she went, cast and crew parted like water. She'd gone from controversial to commanding in one leaked audio clip flat. Nobody called her dramatic anymore. They called her brave. Meanwhile, the ripple effects were hitting hard and fast. VH1's press team had gone full defense mode. Official statements. Controlled interviews. A vague content responsibility initiative was launched to reassure fans that truth matters. To us. But fans weren't buying it. One blogger tweeted, "If truth mattered, why'd y'all air the lie?" And the replies? Savage. Screenshots. Memes. Side-by-side comparisons of the edited DNA scene versus the leaked footage. Hashtag release the raw was now a movement. And right behind it? Hashtag justice for Erica and hashtag VH1 lied. It wasn't just messy. It was cultural. Behind the scenes, things only got uglier. Production had planned a staged make-up breakfast between Erica, Mendeecees, and Yandy for the reunion finale. A symbolic moment of healing, scripted down to the fork placements and fabric choice. But when Erica arrived and saw the scene setup, she laughed. Not a cute laugh. A cold, dismissive laugh that made the cameraman flinch. "You want me to eat eggs with a man who let me be humiliated over a fake test?" she asked. Nobody answered. The silence was the answer. She turned to the director. "If you want the real reunion, roll tape." No script. No edit. Just truth. And they did. Because by then, even production had started turning on itself. Editors were leaking watermarked clips. Assistants were selling episode outlines to YouTubers. An anonymous Reddit thread, allegedly written by a former VH1 story producer, broke down how emotional manipulation was part of the playbook. One quote went viral: "We don't film reality. We film reactions. Then we build the reality around it." It hit harder than any slap aired on screen. Suddenly, fans were combing through old seasons, rewatching scenes, asking, what else was fake? Which tears were real? How many other cast members had been sacrificed for ratings? The pressure reached a boiling point when Yandy did the unthinkable. She went live. No glam. No filter. Just her in her kitchen with her bonnet on and her voice trembling. "I didn't know," she said. "And maybe that makes me just as guilty. But I swear on everything, if I had seen that original tape, I would have never let that episode air." She paused, wiped her face, and added, "We can't build sisterhood on silence. I should have spoken up. I'm speaking now." It was raw. It was real. And the fans, they forgave her. Because while Mendeecees was still hiding behind cryptic posts and ghostwriting damage control statements, Yandy showed up. She took the heat. And it mattered, but nothing, and I mean nothing, compared to what happened next. That night, a private email chain leaked between two high-level executives at the network. In it, one exec says, "We underestimated Erica. We didn't think she'd go this far." The other responds, "Mona says damage control is too late. We need a pivot. Turn the scandal into a redemption arc, spin it before it spins us." The emails were damning. Fans now had proof the network was trying to profit off the very truth they buried. And if that wasn't enough, Erica's lawyer dropped the bombshell. They were officially moving forward with legal action. The lawsuit wasn't just about defamation, it was about emotional distress, breach of contract, and fraudulent representation. Pages upon pages of behind-the-scenes documentation were included. Contract redlines, deleted footage logs, internal chat transcripts between producers debating which version of the DNA test made for better drama. VH1 was caught. Caught. Red-handed. Caught with cameras rolling and receipts flying. And as news of the suit hit mainstream outlets, the scandal leveled up. It wasn't love and hip-hop drama anymore. It was a media firestorm. Investors started pulling out. Advertisers began backing away. One even issued a statement: "We do not support programming that fabricates medical results for entertainment." That one sentence cost the network millions in ad revenue. Meanwhile, Erica's social media exploded. She gained over 600,000 followers in a week. Brands reached out for collabs. Talk shows called. And instead of hiding or basking in the glow, she made a statement. "This isn't about me anymore. It's about what they did to all of us. I'm not the first cast member they lied on. I might just be the last." The final reunion shoot was chaos before the cameras even started rolling. Protesters stood outside with signs reading, "Erica deserves justice, VH1 lied," and "Tell the whole truth." Inside, security was doubled. Everyone had to sign updated NDAs. But Erica, her lawyer by her side, walked in with no fear. She wore red. It wasn't subtle. It was war paint. When Mendeecees tried to hug her, she backed away. When Yandy reached out, she nodded but didn't smile. The reunion wasn't about forgiveness. It was about exposure, and baby, did it deliver. The cameras rolled. Mona entered. The cast sat stiff. The air was so tense, you could hear every breath. And then Erica spoke. "Before we begin, I want to ask the network to roll the raw tape. The one labeled Paternity Original. I believe the fans deserve the truth. The full truth." For a moment, Mona hesitated. Then, she looked at the producers. A nod. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up. And for the first time ever, the real DNA scene aired on national television. It was devastating. Erica opening the envelope. Her hands shaking. The test clearly reading 98% probability. Her crying. Her saying, "I knew it." The crew hugging her. And then, black screen. Cut. A producer whispering off camera, "Let's reshoot that with a neutral envelope." Boom. Fans watching live exploded. Twitter crashed. YouTube commentary went live within minutes. The truth was out. Irrefutable. Uncut. And in front of millions. And what happened next? Chaos. The reunion devolved into emotional outbursts. Mendeecees, visibly shaken, tried to explain his silence. "I was scared, man. I didn't know how to tell the world I might have been wrong." But the crowd wasn't having it. Yandy cried. Erica didn't. She sat there, composed, victorious, and exhausted. The host tried to steer the conversation into moving forward, but Erica shut it down. We don't move forward until we acknowledge where we've been. You all let me drown in lies while you cashed in on the drama. The final minutes of the reunion weren't hugs. They were accountability. Mona stood up. I let the story go too far, she said. I thought I was protecting the show. I should have protected you. It wasn't a full apology. But it was the closest thing VH1 had ever given. The episode ended not with a teaser, not with a cliffhanger, but with Erica walking off set. Slow and steady, the only sound being her heels and the faint clapping of a studio audience that finally saw what she'd been saying all along. After the reunion aired, fans organized a digital rally. #TruthTV became a trend. Bloggers launched podcasts to break down the aftermath. VH1 tried to spin the moment as a turning point in reality television, but no one forgot who caused the spiral to begin with. The lawsuit moved forward. Erica's legal team issued subpoenas for more footage. Other cast members began to come forward with their own stories. It wasn't just Erica anymore. It was a movement, and as for Mendeecees? He disappeared again. Some said he went on a retreat. Others said he was preparing his own documentary. But no matter where he went, the stain remained. Not because he lied, but because he watched the lie and did nothing. That silence was louder than anything he ever said. Yandy, meanwhile, began filming her own spin-off, A Mother's Journey, a redemption arc, but this time, allegedly, with editorial control. The tagline? No scriptis. No silence. Erica Mena became more than a cast member. She became a cautionary tale. A blueprint. A warning to every production team that thought they could twist a woman's truth for profit and get away with it. Her story is now taught in media ethics classes. Her reunion scene is used as a case study on audience manipulation. And somewhere, in the depths of VH1's hard drive, there's probably still a version of that episode labeled alternate ending. But it'll never see the light of day. Because the truth already did. And it was brighter than anyone expected when the cameras stopped rolling. Erica stood in the parking lot, her lawyer beside her, her friend clutching her purse, the wind in her hair, and peace on her face. She didn't win a prize. She didn't walk away richer. But she walked away vindicated. And in a world where truth is currency, that's worth more than any storyline ever written. The final question now belongs to us. The fans. The viewers. The ones who made reality TV into what it is. Will we keep letting lies entertain us? Or will we demand something more? Something real? Something honest, because Erica Mena did her part. Now it's our turn.